Yo, what is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Today's gonna be a super fun stream because when I was looking at the frame by frame submissions, everybody looks like they wanna look at if they're clean or if they're logical. So, super fun stream for me. I think out of all the things that I'm really good at doing, it's looking for errors or execution errors or flubs or hiccups. Probably one of my more favorite things to look out for a light show. So, yeah, I mean, when I was looking at the submissions, look at all the submissions. Basically, everyone wants me to look at if they're logic and if they're clean or not. We're gonna be starting out with Feline Fine. Okay, I like that name, Feline Fine. Light shows are fun, and as a frame-by-frame submission, partially labbing as well, but my goal was to throw the best I can at the current point in my gloving journey. Yes, focus on cleanliness and logic. Great, perfect. Yeah, so let's go ahead, watch that. Bring it up on that screen real quick. Alright. Make sure my pan's working properly. Let's get into it. Okay, right off the bat, camera angle is slightly tilted, okay? So I know it's just a small detail, but like when you have your lines like crooked like this, already the whole show just to me is gonna be crooked. Look at this line on the wall. Make sure to have a clean composition with your camera angles. Just because it's a slight bit off, just a little, small thing. Just presentation in the show, guys. So far, so good, I think.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, how you doing? The Madman is back here to show you all the new movement. We from the underground, no, we don't mess around. We got that old school sound, we here to shut it down.
Okay. Some good utilization of landing points in this video. Alright, that could use a little bit cleaning up. Finger rolls there. Yeah, a little bit of a logic, lots of logic things happening here. Lots of things that aren't the most clean in terms of tracing. Still lots of floating. It's fine. Movement, cleanliness is good. What do we do at the drop? Not a lot of static lines. A lot of floating still. Yeah, lots of moving parts at the same time. Lots of moving parts. This song is really easy to get into autopilot too. I like that. A little bit of showmanship there. Liquid is okay. Placement there is pretty good. Placement on that. That movement there is alright. Yeah, lots of corners being skipped there. I get the ideas, but yeah, execution needs to be done a little bit slower. All right. Okay. So, particularly with this show, right? There was a lot of movements. This isn't a good show when it comes down to sorry, let me take that back. The song is not good. If you're trying to showcase good execution, I think that the song choice really played part in it, right? So a lot of loud sounds. Is a long is a 4:11 show, pretty long. I think in this case in particularly, I feel like less is more, right? I think that Feline Fine, I gotta get used to calling them that name, but there's a lot of sounds in this song, and testing your cleanliness you gotta try and do these moves slow. You know, you might see me talk about, you know, you gotta practice moving fast if you want to learn how to move fast. But I think in this case, I think less is more, right? Lots of sounds, lots of movement. Therefore, you're gonna get lots of autopilot, lots of tertiary movement, lots of floating. And so I think specifically for this show, there wasn't a lot of use of point isolations. Okay, and then so an important concept you gotta know, guys, is point isolations. Okay, so point isolation is basically just having or coming to a point and then isolating at that point. So if you could imagine my point being on my pinky and my ring, okay, my point isolation would be right. Sorry, that's a really bad example. If I were to do this pointer and this ring, okay, the point isolation, okay, point isolation would be right there in space. Try not to float. That space in between my pointer and my ring, that point right there, more of that. We're gonna need more of that and less moving of everything, right? So that was very, very commonly seen within the entirety of the show, actually. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch. Let's go ahead and watch the. You know, the intro was fine. I'm not gonna really talk about the intro. The intro is fine. Point ISOs are rough. Yeah, point ISOs are rough. Even when you're like really good at them, it's always going to be a struggle. Okay. The thing is, okay, if you don't feel like you're struggling in your shows, then there's something wrong. The isolation is always going to be present. I mean, yeah, there are going to be a couple ISOs that just work more than others. Like, for example, like when I do like my tuts, when I'm doing king tutting, that isolation is really easy. But it becomes really hard when you have two different hands working with each other, right? Like having that isolation here on my hand there, having to have both hands work together and maintain the illusion of the grid, that's really hard. And for this song, it's really hard to do because it's a very loud song, right? A lot of things happening. There's a lot of like jerkiness that I feel like Feline had to do like in order to try and encapsulate the song. But that's the thing, guys, okay? So there's this thing, okay? There's this thing with like what you feel in musicality and what is perceived, okay? So this is a phenomenon that I've encountered, okay? Like back when I first started gloving, like I thought my musicality was like off the charts, bro. Like I felt like I was hitting everything. I was moving as fast as the song was, right? Years later, I would watch that same old light show where I thought I had really good musicality. I'd be like, wow, I'm actually missing a lot because I'm moving too much. So sometimes what is felt is not perceived, and then a more cleaner execution may be perceived as better musicality than trying to hit everything, right? You could actually be so patient in musicality without having to utilize secondary movements for bigger hits or tertiary movements with a lot of hits, right? You could actually be a lot more patient, toning it down a little bit, and that does play into the execution. Musicality does play into the execution. Slaving music, probably another big culprit to why execution is not clean. You gotta calm down. Tame the beast, guys. Tame the beast. Okay. So like this is one of those things where like you'll see like right here, like there's like a little jitter and having to hit that beat with this hand on the right. Right? So like let's listen. This is what's actually happening. Right? There's like lots of movement happening here. Right? Like lots here. Like, is there ever a time where one hand is not moving? I don't know. Is there ever a time where one hand is not moving? That's the question. Let's see. Let's see. Both moving at the same time. Okay. We're going frame by frame. Okay. Look at this hand on the left. Horizontal hand. It's going to be going tracing up. Right? Look at that hand in the back. This hand in the back, okay, is moving down. The same time, this hand is moving up. So which one is it? You got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Is it this, or is it this, or is it this? Is it this, or this? Because 3 different options. If you are not confident in what option that you want to do, you're going to be floating. You're not going to be on the grid, okay? Got to be dirty. Got to be dirty. Which one is it? That was only 1 second in the show. That's the thing, guys. That wasn't even a second in the show. That was only 1 second. So are you doing this periodically throughout the whole show? Right? Is it intentful? Did you mean to do that? Okay. So here, we have that trace up. We have that trace up with that horizontal hand. Okay. What happens? Okay. Nice. Okay, here we go. We have an isolation. We have an isolation flipping here. You guys saw that? Really quick. It's moving quick, guys. Moving quick. Boom. Like, that's an isolation. We got a landing point here, but guess what? When we're doing this whole flip here in the hand, okay, when we're doing this whole flip, okay, pay attention to, like, this hand. It's slightly floating. It's slightly floating. You see? So, we gotta practice 1-1 practice, guys. We have to practice vocally saying ones while we're doing each isolation, so we have that calibration between voice and movement. Audio and movement. Music just takes control, and then you look at your show and you're like, shit, yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes it's just good to ignore the music just for the sake of execution. If execution is what you're targeting, then who cares about the music? Especially if you're gonna submit for frame by frame, right? So, so here, like, look at the body, okay? So here we have this isolation. Pay attention to Feline's body. It's moving, right? It's moving. They're moving front and then back. Guys, isolate your body. It's as equally as important with your execution, with your hands. Gloving's not just your hands, right? Okay, so I gotta look at this little flip here. This little flip here. So we go from this to that. That's fine. It kind of doesn't work when you see, it kind of doesn't work when you're back here, though, okay? Because look what happens, okay? So we're here, right? I want you to pay attention to where this hand, landing point, wrist, okay? I'm expecting this hand to flip back up and land with this crevice, because this crevice right here, this is the next landing point for that hand. That's where it fits perfectly, okay? But we're keeping the isolation still on the wrist for some reason, okay? This is what I'm talking about, okay? We're doing this to this. You see how that, oh, I'm kind of peeking a little bit with my audio. Why don't you guys tell me? Anyway, you see this top of my pointer lands perfectly right there. But for some reason, we're doing this flip. We're doing this flip, and it doesn't quite work. Doesn't quite work with this. You see? It's not lined with the crevice. There's this whole gap there. It's unclean. Okay, so notice this transition. We go from like a king tut form to a liquid. You know, not that bad. Not the greatest, right? Execution is really up here also, right? I think one of the biggest things also why a lot of the execution is not clean in this particular show is that we haven't created a reference. Like, there's no reference to the camera. Everything is like, oh, here. Like, there isn't like this center line that's close and being utilized as an isolation point. Everything is just kind of, you know, free flow in relation to like themselves, right? Like here, look at this. Okay, so we have this finger roll, but it lands midpoint of the finger, right? So I see this unconnected line. I see like no connected lines. I mean, the only connected line is here, but because this line is missing, it kind of feels off. It feels unsatisfying to kind of look at when you're doing that execution here. It's like I'm expecting this pinky to line up with this thumb for some reason, but it doesn't. Not only that, but then there are lingering fingers that are happening at the same time, right? I think less is more in this case. Okay, so figuring out, being in that paused form, figuring out, okay, am I making a box or not? Is my fingers lingering or not? Okay, this is a more satisfying form. Don't you agree? Right? So we got to be slower. We got to come here, okay? We got to make one action. All right? Trace or not? Trace or not? Hinge or not? Hinge or not? Trace or not? Like, you got to pick one, and we've got to do them very slowly. Very slowly. Okay? Because now there's just too much actions here. There's too much actions here. We're going down into the wave tut, but like, is it the wave tut that we're trying to do? Or is it this tertiary movement to the left that we're trying to do? There's too much things happening because the song is too chaotic. Lingering plus fingers equals Okay. Alright, feline. Yeah, lots of things happening. We have to be more concrete with our movements by implementing more staccato movements. We're gonna go here, land. Go here, land. Go here, land. Go here, land. Logic practice. Longevity, logic practice, okay? I want to see you go up to lo-fi. I'm curious what lo-fi looks like on you, feline. See, that you can tell that the only point at which there is a reference, like, to the camera are with the whirly-doos, you know? Because it's only natural. It's only natural that we do the whirly-doos. It's like you're whipping in front of someone's face, but imagine if you're doing tech in front of someone's face. Send them Charles first? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here we're going too wild, feline. We're going too wild. You're not looking at your moves, feline. You gotta look at your moves. You know, for a feelsy, you know, maybe feline is more of a feelsy Glover, right? I think that concepts like pinching or morphing, right? Maybe even threading, actually complements more of like the feelsy type, if you consider yourself the feelsy type, right? When it comes down to just straight logic and precision, things like tutting, there's a binary aspect to it. You gotta create straight lines, you gotta create boxes, you gotta create right angles. There's more of a discipline there. Okay, where like with like pinches or like, you know, morphing, you can kind of get away with some of those movements that aren't quite static. So just a suggestion. Like here, there's a lot of lines. Lots of lines here. Where is it? Right here. Look. Whoa, there's like a lot of connections happening. Like here, look at this box. Like this box right here. That. I know you want to connect this with your thumb, but your thumb is going diagonal and this hand is diagonal. You know, just try creating boxes. Just try creating that straight box without having to think of the movement. I think in this case, just finding that box could be the goal, you know, in trying to become cleaner. Because there's a lot of tracing, but there's not a lot of boxes. Like here, this form right here, you know? I'm looking for a picture-perfect shape every so often. I'm looking for a perfect shape every so often. I'm looking for a box every so often, okay? There isn't a box or, like, a lot of straight lines for that matter in many cases, right? There's all these sporadic lines all over the place. And so that's just one of the goal, like, you know, here, and it might be just because where this form is in relation to the camera, like, maybe if you were, like, closer, it would work, but I don't know. Like, I mean, even in this form, this is just bad habits right here. Like, you can see that the hand, like, a lot of sporadic lines, there's no straight, like, angles, just Go slow, straight angles. Like, even when we're in, like, a box like this, right? Like, it's not clean because of the angle that it's in in relation to the camera. Right? It's, like, all kind of off to the side over here. Like, here, look. Like, finish the box, feline. Finish the box. Okay? Yeah? Yes. Okay. Look. Oh, look. The box isn't done yet. The box isn't done yet. Before the box is done, we're moving our fingies. We're moving our fingers before the box is done. Come on, feline. Finish the box. Look. Right? This is... Oh! Wait a second. Did we finish the box here? Yo. Wait. Hold on. Okay. There we go. We finished the box, kinda. But guess what? The box is odd, man. The box is not... It's not perfectly aligned with the camera, right? It's off in this weird angle, and that's because the arms are bent. You could do this form perfectly if your arms were straight. If you were, you know... Look, this is what you're doing right now. This kind of odd box. We got to do this in relation to the camera. No, not this. Not this. This, right? We're giving the camera a light show. We're not giving a light show and the camera's recording. We're giving the camera a light show. You know? So yeah, just be careful, right? So here, look. So here, lots of things happening. You want to trace. You want to trace to the top of your fingers here. Or you know, like, and I get it. This part of this part is really hard. Like, getting from here, having to do this with the trace, to trace up, you know, to the tip, to the trace to the other side, to there, right? Rather than just kind of like, there, you know? Discipline. You could break down your show into so many different new sequences and parts if you just committed to that angle and you really thought about your lines. Boom. Boom. You know, it's a lot of work, you know, but that's a thing. It is a lot of work, but that's how we get better, is just putting in those work, because things that are hard gets easier. But yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of the show. I'm not gonna point out every single execution error because there's a lot of execution errors sprinkled everywhere. Okay. Practice just staying in like one hand in a static form. Just practice one hand in a static form, and then looking at the lines and then being like, okay, where's that to the camera? Boom. Okay, that's the line. That's the line. Look at where the lines meet. Being perfect with the lines. Okay? So that's probably the biggest practice that I would say. That and a slower song for sure. On my next shirt. Like, even with something as simple as like these liquid movements, like even something with these simple like liquid movements, like having that like nice gentle like here, and then like looking, making, you know, taking care of your moves, treating your moves as if they're like a baby, gentle movements, you know, not rocking them like this. Look at this. All right. What's happening? Is it the elbow supposed to be touching, or is it just, you know, because this angle could work if you're like that, and then you're like utilizing the lines as like a V, right? But you're in and out. Or is it supposed to be... Oh, that's a hard angle. Oh, that's hard angle. I can't even do that. Or is it supposed to be that? You see the elbows? Paying attention to like how your elbows line in a tut like that. Okay, let's see what happens. Ah, we're just out of it. Flopping our hands around. Yeah. You're very in and out of your concept as well. Like, I want to see you, like, stay in those concepts longer without disconnecting your fingers. Try labbing without disconnecting your fingers. Commit. Too much disconnection. How much times do we disconnect? Okay. Alright, we disconnected there. Okay. Yeah. It's a lot of, lots of crazy stuff happening. Yeah. Might be trying to be a little too complex. Trying to be a little too complex. Okay, yeah, I think this is just periodically a no-show. Okay, so basically, this is my homework for you, Feline Fine. I want to see you throw a slow light show with good, basic tutting fundamentals. You don't gotta do like a bunch of crazy tech, right? Which I know Feline Fine has lots of crazy tech. But I want to see what the simple version of this show looks like. If it could even be clean or not, okay? Baby steps, baby steps. Sometimes we got to go back to the basics and work our way up again. I've done this many different times where I'm like, okay, I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. Can I even do this proper? I want to see a proper one. A proper one with good use of space, good camera angle, okay? And good pacing. Because I feel like speed is a big part of why you're not clean. Music choice not clean. And maybe, who knows, maybe we just need to do a little bit of ironing out with just the basics of tutting and tracing and isolations and things like that. So yeah, that's my homework for this one. Moving on. Okay. All right, we've got Fidget. We've got Fidget. All right. Love the name Fidget. Length 236. This was recorded for fun. I want you to focus on cleanliness of the show. Let's go, baby. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I love looking out for cleanliness. Didn't I mention this already? I already mentioned this. You know why? Because all I can see are mistakes, you know? I was born, or I was taught with negative reinforcement, guys. You know? I would always get judged for my mistakes. Every single mistake, I would be judged for it. Every single one. So guess what? It's a blessing, guys. It's a blessing. Now I can see all the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go. Go ahead and watch Fidget. No, not poor me. Great.
Trying to titty fuck Ricky Lake.
Yo. What were those lyrics?
Trying to titty fuck Ricky Lake. Wanna take Rihanna on a Disney date? Yeah. People looking at me stupid, is he baked? When I ate 68 tabs with a whiskey chase. Yeah. Easy. Walk into a busy bank.
Ooh.
Tell her, give me safe. Bye. Then I blow her kissy face if she waves back.
Got it.
Like I'm Drizzy Drake. Wait, pills for Kevin made me space.
Pretty good execution so far.
Chemical imbalance is my talents. As a kid, I spent
A little bit of a logic thing there.
On anything if it was mainstream. Arizona iced tea from my pasties. Noodles from Edo since grade 3. Burrito with baked beans and a steak cheese.
Love the pacing. Ooh, love that move. Love the set as well. Ooh, love the committing to that point of contact. Saw a spot there. Okay. Alright. I saw a thing there. I saw a thing there. I gotta pause. Alright, Brandon. Brandon, since you're in here, I know. We talked about this, bro. Yes! You saw it! Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. Anyway. Placement there was a little bit off. Flow is pretty good, man. Informative speech, dancing, recording this beat. Presidential eating lunch like when Donald Trump. Everything my pen writes down now. Movement a little bit shaky. Just a little bit. Ooh. Mercules lift the curtains, please. Let me on stage with the circus freaks. I need perks and weed, anniversary free, and some purple lean. It's our anniversary. Remember, we were chasing rap in September. Went on that bender to Denver from October, November. December got way better, but only cause of Christmas Eve. Dimethyltryptamine. Dimension shifting dreams, mind bending mysteries. I'm venting misery. He got mad cause then when I mentioned Krispy Kreme, we couldn't find a location. Lots of textures. Stand on it. Yeah, I love the movement in this show. Sick, bro. That was pretty gnarly. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there were a couple hiccups there, a couple misalignments. Happens all the time. You know, there's only a couple, like, hiccups that I could pretty much spot. But, yeah, let's go through it. Yo, what up, Pat? Welcome, welcome. Oh, my God, that freaking lyric, bro. Okay, we can't be having those. Okay, really love this. Okay, so I don't actually. Let me see. Is there a movement? Like, is there a bit of nervousness happening right now? Like, there's like a pause here. It's like when he comes back. Okay. Ah, actually, never mind. I'm tripping out. That was clean. Okay, alright, so. Okay. Very minor. I've talked about this in a couple videos, but there's moving both the forms together, okay? And I love the body movement. So this is where like a kind of a little bit of the balance and gloving has to like come together, okay? So like there's moving your body and moving the whole form, which is really great for like showmanship. Like you have a vibe, you have a persona, right? But then when it comes to like grid, right? There's moving, you know, there's moving one and then there's moving the other. If you want to build on that isolation, you move one hand, then you change the lead, When we keep doing both of this all the time, sometimes it could affect our grid, right? Not saying that it's happening here, but it could affect our grid. And we could be utilizing those type of movements as a crutch, okay? Again, not saying that this is happening here, but you got to watch out for things like that. Because guess what? When you have like movements like that, right? So there's a little bit of floating happening. Well, just a little bit. You see? This hand is moving. This, right? It's pretty good though. I would say 80% good. Right? Like here. Form is right here. It lingers all the way there. Right? Gotta be careful. Still pretty, you know, not that bad. But gotta be careful. I'm looking for perfection. Perfection. You see? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Okay? We have both hands moving at the same time. What's the beginning of that move? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So we could build on that, man. We could build on that grid. You know, this is just such a minor part in light shows, because you don't really think about this type of stuff. Where like, if you kept the isolation there, if you kept the isolation there and then built on it, you could use that as a transition, right? But because we're moving both things at the same time, even though I don't know what your intent is, it's what separates like the good glovers, in my opinion, to like those who are at the top. Like if you're trying to hit that 1%, it's like maintaining that isolation as a transition point rather than breaking off into like flow and then doing, you know what I mean? And then like not building. The fact that you're not building, that's what's gonna take you higher. The fact that you build, it's gonna add on to your execution and your transitions, right? It's about building, guys. Even though this is the intro, I'm a little bit I'm pretty strict on this one, you know, because I see that Fidget has improved over the months, so I gotta be harder. I got to be harder. Also, I noticed fingers seem kind of wonky. I wonder what Fidget, and I mean this in a great way, okay? I know a lot of glovers who have wonky fingers, who have wonky styles. I can kind of see the curvature in the hands, you know? This might play into your favor later on, utilizing how, like, unique the characteristics are on your fingers. Okay, here. Let's see. Okay, we got this digit here in this placement. Let me think about this real quick. Okay. Very minor thing. Very minor thing, okay? This is, like, on the diagonal of the pinky. How did he get into it? He hinged. That is good logic. You see that? Good logic. I had to test it myself. Because from here, right, from a flat hand, from this line, keeping that isolation there and doing that hinge to land on the diagonal part of his finger is good logic. If he was straight on this finger, like stacked on that from this flat hand, it wouldn't have been good logic. You see? If he had landed, like, if he went from this to like there, where it's lined with the side of his pinky, that wouldn't have been good logic. Okay? Because in order for you to get from here to even there, you have to land at that corner of your finger there. That's good logic. That's good isolation. Okay? So, that happens everywhere. Very minuscule aspects of gloving. Okay, let's check that. Okay. I'm paying attention to that digit. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm paying attention to this digit here. Okay, where does it land? Okay, look. He's moving this hand forward while this finger is turning. Alright? You could have broke this into, like, 2 different pieces. It's not bad. You know, very, very small error. Barely doesn't change anything. But the thing is, when it happens all the time, it happens all the time if it's consistent through all your shows. There's going to be an aspect to your show where it just doesn't seem clean, right? Like right now, if I were to tell you if this show was clean, at first glance, most people would probably be like, yeah, you know, it was pretty clean. But when you look deep, it's not clean because of instances like that. You got to look, you got to check the placements. You got to proof check it, guys. Proof. Look. How does this make sense? How does this make sense? Okay? Finger align with thumb. Finger move forward. Okay? Finger move forward, but forward. Okay? How can finger How can finger be aligned with this and then land here in one movement? It makes no sense. Finger must be here. Finger must go down. Finger must trace along this line. Finger must then land there. That's like 3 different moves. 3 different options in order to be actually clean. But no, we're fake clean here. We're faking it clean here, guys. Blah, blah. Did you see that? Doggo was mad at finger. Yes, see? Even my dog knows. My dog is pretty clean, I think. Okay. Okay. Oh, is it? Little clash. I gotta play that over and over. Look! Fidget! Look! This is not clean. That's not clean. You gotta be more disciplined with your line there. That was clean though. That placement. Okay. Wait. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, that was good. That was good. Okay, so what I noticed, and this is really great. Okay. Very, very small detail. We're utilizing trails and movement as a blend, but it's almost kind of sort of like a transitional break. And it's one of those things that you can kind of get away with in gloving. Okay, is utilizing your movement after like a landing to get in places, to just get in whatever place that you want, to be honest. All right. So here, but okay, we're going up past the camera lens into a reset point, which is, it's an illusion. It's really cool. Anyway, utilizing illusions for transition, guys. Utilizing your speed as a blending, okay? So, like, if I were to, like, do something like this, right? And I were to, like, you know, like, use my speed as a blending, so you can't really catch that. You can't catch the bad logic, basically. He kind of somewhat did it here, but he did it in a way where he went off camera. Okay? So utilize that for your advantage. I love that. Just grabbing your fingertips. Just grabbing your finger and then like just moving it, because you could like utilize your thumb. Like you could use like one unit with that concept. And then like there's like such a cool like illumination when like you open your fingertips and you get that like that depth with your hand. I love that move. Yeah, I might use that one more often. My mind is off its rocket and the monster starts blocking jaws with fucking Nostradamus, dropping bombs and rocket launching off the top floor of apartments. But my promise, not Muhammad, now I'm only talking dollars. I'm a hyperactive rapping psychopathic Mike. Okay. So he caught it here. He didn't catch it at the beginning because it's going too fast. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Where that connection at? Where that connection at? You gotta land. You gotta land. You guys watching the Olympics right now? You guys watch it, you know? I'm pretty sure that you know, the gymnastics girl, they don't not land, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta land. Land. Whoop 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 whoop. Land. Perfect. Perfect. What was the female's name? The girl's name? Perfect. Olympics. Land, guys. Land. Here you landed here. That's fine. You can't do it on one side and not do it the other. This Simone? Simone? I don't know how to say her name wrong. I'm completely honest. Simon Biles? Yeah, her. You gotta land, guys. You gotta land like her. You want to be an Olympics gloving champion? You gotta land like Simon Biles. Jackson that hasn't went to the bathroom since last time I saw my dad and my dad. Okay, hold up. Last time I saw my dad. Last time I saw my dad and my daddy, he drove a mad. Okay, hold up. Went to the bathroom since last time I saw my dad. Jackson that hasn't went to the bathroom since last. There's a control error here. There's a spatial and control error. I feel like this finger is too left when it should be in front. You know what I'm saying? Like here, like we obviously have the alignment here. Like we have that alignment perfect right here. When we're going into, like when we're moving forward, we lose alignment. Okay? And then like we're just off here at this point. We're just off here. And then like for some reason like it like aligns perfectly at the end. And you know, it should just align perfectly just like that. Or am I wrong? Am I wrong? What are we doing? Pointer, pinky. No, you should have the alignment. You should have the alignment. If you're off to the side, you're like off. You're like off here. Let's look at that shakiness. Let's look at this hand. Pay attention to this hand. Oh no, it's not shaking. It's just a blinky set, yo. Okay, this is the big one. This is the big fumble that I saw. That land right here. Ooh, that one is just off. Okay, landing point. Landing on the tips, guys. Landing on the tips. Because if you're gonna do this, then you have to utilize this middle part of your finger as a tool. Just landing there, it feels off. Okay, yeah. This is the big. This is why gloves on the bottom is inferior. Gloves on the bottom, thumbs on the bottom is inferior, guys. Unless you're doing conjuring. Okay. When it comes down to logic and things like tracing, okay, a lot of the times we are tracing with the inner part of our thumb. We feel this connection. Okay. When we have it in the bottom, there are certain angles that just don't quite make sense, and it actually messes up like how you look in terms of cleanliness. Because look at that. There's a big gaping hole right there. Look, I could draw it in, color it in. You know, I feel like I'm in kindergarten. But there's a hole right there, and you don't want that, because then, unless you're utilizing it, okay? Unless you're utilizing it, because now there's a big gaping hole there. Okay, let's look at that trace. All right, we go down. Lots of floating. Lots of floating here. Down. Out. Okay. All right. We're gonna have to do reps. Reps. Down, out, hinge. Okay. Down, out, down, hinge. Okay? That's what's actually happening. Down, down, right? Or do you want to go down to the side? Do you want to go down to the top, trace, then down? Or do you want to down, in, trace, in, hinge, right? Lots of steps in that movement that we're missing. Lots of steps, okay? Down, out, hinge. And then now the connectivity of these two fingers are off, all right? If you want a 10 out of 10 out of execution, if you want like a 5 out of 5 on execution next time you're competing in a competition, you have to stick these landings. You have to. You just have to. Otherwise, there's judges like me that are like, oh, he didn't land, and that there's no way that's a 5 or 10. Yo, Squads! What's up, Squads? How you doing, dog? We're looking at execution errors today. Today, we're looking at all the flaws. We're looking at all the mistakes. You know, Filipinos. That's all we do. Okay, here, alignment was weird. Alignment. Alignment. Look at these. One is in front of the other. I know you want to do a clean rainbow with your fingers. Fidget, I know you want to. Did this guy specifically request to point out every mistake, or you just feel like it today? No. People who submit for frame by frames, they tell me their goal. And today's goal for Fidget, I want you to focus on cleanliness of the show. So that's exactly. Actually, everybody who submitted requested that they talk about the cleanliness of the show. But yeah, so that's the theme of today. We pointed out all the mistakes today. Maybe not all, but most of them. Ooh, there's a little bit of a hiccup there. Down. Am I tripping? Down. I feel like that pinky is odd. Down. I feel like there's like rush in it. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Maybe not. I'll give him that one. Fine. It's good. I love the knee stance. When I see this knee stance, I geek out because I'm like, yo, they're like in it, you know? There's like weird pathings. I feel like the pathing could be like, cleaner. I'm gonna check on what I mean by that. What do I mean by that? Like, I don't know. We're like here, and then we're like here, but it doesn't feel complete. Yeah, we have like a low arch. I think I'm looking for like a higher arch, but I mean, it's not necessarily wrong. It's not necessarily bad. The pinky stacks were sloppy. Looks like his fingers got caught in the lights. Yeah, or like his pinky is short. Looks like the hand moves to execute that last pinky dial due to finger weakness. Yeah, could be a... Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I thought I saw something weird there. Yeah, I don't know about the sequence in terms of, like, finishing the movement, you know? The circle moves to the side, and then it's, like, to the side, and then, like... I don't know. I don't know. Oh, he likes that grabbing pointer move. That was probably my favorite part of the show. Boop, 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 bam, and then that land, you know, that land. Okay, this is a boom. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, we're cutting corners here. Because we're going from here. We're going from here to this. Okay, look. We're like here. No, we're like here to this, okay? So, the thing about this form is when we hinge up, okay? We might have to do like we land on that side of the arm, right? We might have to do a micro adjustment. It's fine to do this micro adjustment actually when you're doing hinges. Like, it happens. Like, it's very common. You'll see this all the time. But, like, when you do that hinge, okay? And if you're gonna go forward like this, if he actually landed on the hinge properly, and if you were to go forward, what would actually happen is that you would actually tumble into this form right here where your pointer is landed on this webbing on landing point right here. So then if we're actually going from here, boom, boom, okay? But actually, we're cheating it a little bit. We're going from there to hinge to forward. It's like he's already off. You see, his fingers don't actually land on that here because there's a little bit of a, you can see it. You can see the indentation right there, right? So we actually landed and went off. We landed, went off. We went off here. Look, we went off. Isn't that weird? It's not the worst, but it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. The only reason is it just his thumb arched back? Clean landing?
Mercules, lift the curtains, please. Mercules, lift the curtains, please. Let me on stage with the circus.
Did I just pass it? Okay, no, here we go. No.
We were chasing rabbits September.
I passed it. Okay. So I gotta full screen my camera to check this. No, I think if you are logical and you actually go forward like this, you actually shouldn't be able to see it. You actually should see like you actually shouldn't be able to see that indentation, that small indentation, like what you're seeing like right here. You shouldn't actually be able to see it if you're logical. But you can't even see your thumb light. Yeah, you shouldn't even be able to see it. Yeah, you shouldn't even be able to see the thumb light. Exactly, yeah. That's a tough one. It's interesting. Isn't that interesting? Like that there's a little adjustment there mid-hinge. Like I think that it could be a good tool. Like I think it's like it doesn't really affect the execution that bad because there's a loss of information and you could use that to your advantage. It's just maybe the way that it's done, maybe not in this particular case, could be good, you know, like sleight of hand type stuff. Let's see. The pinky land. It is tough. It's either the pinky lands on top of the light or the pinky comes to the side. Very small. Very small error.
Mercules, lift the curtains, please. Let me on stage with the circus freaks. I need perks and weed, and a verse for free, and some purple lean.
Really cool. Love this.
Purple lean. It's our anniversary. Remember, we were chasing rabbits September. When the bender to Denver from October, November, December.
Okay, when we land into the stack here. Whoa, what the hell is that? Ignore. Abort. Okay. Ignore. About. Abort. Holy crap, guys. 1 second. Yo! Fidget, you messed up my, my pen tool, brother. Alright, okay, 1 second. Yo, Zugs, what's up? Yeah, I think we're good. We're fine. That was the first time that crashed. Yeah, I know this all too well. Having this indentation. I've done this thousands of times. Be careful with your landing on the indentation, alright? Okay, hold on. There's like... Okay, guys. If you see me having to look at every single, like, line... Okay, that's a good thing. Because I gotta check you. Your execution is, like, pretty much there, but we gotta check, okay? So that's a good thing, guys. If I'm checking all these things right now, it's a good thing. I like the movement, man.
When I mentioned Krispy Kreme, we couldn't find a location open, so now he's pissed at me. Stand on it.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Fidget, pretty good. You know, I say just work on refining the lines, really go slow. Just see, you know, land. You got this is where like one of the bigger level ups happen in gloving, where you're like literally like questioning every single trace, right? Every single length. You know, knowing that like your pointer and your pinkies are different lengths, and your middle, you know, landing like having it being perfect. Okay, I know some glovers, the lengths of all their fingers are like the same, bro, and that's just cheat, you know. So some guys have it easier than others, you know, but us, you know, sometimes we have to work just a little bit harder. So yeah, good stuff, really good, pretty clean for the most part. I'd give that like a B plus, B plus, B plus. Moving on. Moving on. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay. I don't know. In progress. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In progress that. Okay, Danny. Danny. What do you want me to look at, brother? I know we talked about this a little bit. What do you want me to look on? I don't know. After we're doing this last frame by frame, we probably might watch that Danny Phantom versus Night Shift match for that ranked #1 spot in the pit. Yeah, we'll hold off on that one. All right, Deer Face. Frame by frame. This light show was for fun. My track for 2 years. All right. One big goal I have is improving my presentation of different concepts. More specifically, to place them in a logical space which makes sense to the viewer. Okay, line up right angle, finger tutting, keeping hands drifting, putting my flails. Okay, great. All right, let's go ahead. We'll take a look. Read a book. Reading Rainbow. Oh, shoot. Love how dark it is. Yo, this is a vibe. Yo. It's like I'm seeing triangles, man. Placement on the thumb could be a little bit perfected, but not bad, not bad. Okay, logic there needs a little bit of work, but damn. I like where your head is at. Ooh, okay. Alright. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit of logic there. Yo, thumb on bottom. Little bit of speed control there with the flips a little bit. I want to see those be a little bit more completed. It could be because of the type of strobe that he has. It could be the speed. Okay, actually, when he does them fast, it looks pretty damn good. Could be a mode thing. Could be a finger extension thing. Who knows? But yeah, a little bit of shakes. A little bit of logic right there. Pretty damn logical, though. Interesting. I have to take a look at that. Oh! Oh, I love me them moves. Them thumb through webbings. A little bit of whoa, his hands are pretty gnarly, bro. He's got like some crazy bends in his hand when he does those tuts. The contact there on the thumb is interesting. Where I'm like, super sick ending. Love that ending. Coming full circle. Yo. Probably the best submission for this week's frame by frame in terms of execution. Love the tech. Couple things. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about the intro. Intro, nothing wrong with the intro, honestly. Nothing wrong with the intro. Except maybe right here. Like where your hand is in relation to the camera, you're a little bit off. I'm getting kind of scared. Stop looking at me like that. But yeah, great. I could tell that this is clean. If we just present it in a way more symmetrical to the camera, perfect. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how I feel about... I'm not sure how I feel about the pinkies having an indentation here with this space. Not sure if he meant to do that. I don't think he did, because we're going into symmetrical form here. Is this... You know, I think your camera's not balanced, because even your head is going kind of diagonal, you know? So I think actually everything is good, to be honest. So, you know, ignore my comment earlier. I could just kind of tell your forms are a little bit off. You know? Just balance your camera, guys. Not that hard. Okay, this is really interesting. So, we go from here. Okay. A couple things don't make sense. All right. So, actually... this finger is on a completely different line, okay? So, when you actually close everything, you're technically cheating a line. And I think because it doesn't work is because you are static. Like, you can go from here to, like, there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at this. You can go from, like... I don't know. I have to think about that. I don't know. Or, you know, the boom, bop, boom, bop. There's a little bit of tertiary movement there. Or is it... Oops. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not the worst, but it is weird. It is kind of weird. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it's weird. It's weird because you're landing there, right? And then you do your this finger coming out. Because now, right, you're trying to force these two lines together. You're trying to force it. Trying to force the concept. And then you just land. It makes no sense. You know? That's why it's weird. And then from here, you come from you get misaligned. You're trying to isolate your hand back with this left hand, but then now you're like just completely on top of your light. When in actuality, you should be pulling this light backwards, right? You should be pulling it, not like there. You're kind of just like forcing it on top of the light. Totally different illusion. My dog doesn't like it. Interesting, because like you kind of go back, but you land there. Interesting. So I see what you're doing. You're doing a collapse down, right? You're collapsing down, but you're bending this middle finger in at the same time. So there's a battle between isolations happening here. You're going down, you're closing this thumb down, but you're also bending this finger up. I mean down. You're bending this middle finger in. But then you're landing your pointer on your thumb. Interesting. I feel like it could work. Maybe. What's happening here, though? Lingering finger. Take care of this pinky. It could work. I'm not totally against it. Okay, what I am against, okay? So you have this trace, okay? But if you think about the levels, this level is different than the level between the thumb. So this is more forward, and the thumb is more backwards. But you trace it as if it was on the same level. So you're skipping corner, while this finger should be going back one line. Your dog started barking because of mine. Okay. So here, okay, yeah, we're cutting a lot of lines here. We went from this line to just immediately on that thumb line, that thumb point. You're almost there. Ben, you're almost there. Because you got the crazy concepts. Logic could just use a little bit more work. Boom. That's why you're here. Dude, I love this. Actually, Ben will do like 2 types of isolations at the same time, which, to me, could be future as fuck. Could be future as fuck if where you land is like... It depends on where you land, because... So here, like, we're doing an isolation while we're isolating. We gotta get rid of these flingering. Lingering. Yeah, we're flingering. Oh man, I love how close he is with the fingers here. Really good. No qualms here. Okay, here's a little bit of a qualm. Okay. It might be better to land tip to tip. Okay? Because we're landing. What are we landing? We're landing tip to bottom. To the bottom of this pointer. Okay? Yo! B-Pie, thanks for the $2 flingering, my brother. Thank you. What did I say? Tip to bottom. Tip to tip, guys. Touch them tips, alright? Tip to tip might be more beneficial than tip to bottom, because when you depends on how you do the isolation, okay? So, here... What the... Why does this always happen? Okay. I'm, like, losing my train of thought. From here... Yeah, see? So, because we land on the bottom of our pointer, when we push out, we land, like... I don't know, it's kind of off. It's kind of off. If you had landed on the tip there, then you would have landed, like, there, you know? Like there, and not that. Because now it's like... Yeah, hinges are tough, man. Sometimes you have to do that micro adjustment. Sometimes you just have to land somewhere else in order for it to make sense. And so... Oh, okay. So... What's happening? So we're isolating our thumb down, and it caused an effect that middle finger to go down. I feel like I want to see just a little bit more committal to the cause and effect. Because here we land and we're turning, but mid-turn here at this diagonal, right? This hand's already moving. I don't know. I guess I was meant to see this line align with this line align with this line. But I don't know. Here. It's an awkwardness with the hand positions and the rotations. You know, just practicing just like wiping the camera, like wiping the camera, the whole camera lens with your palm. Whole thing. Just practice that. I think that's what you're trying to do here. There's an awkwardness in the form here when you're not fully rotating your wrist. Or will you pause in the circular movement, rather? It is a little bit awkward. Yeah, there's a risk when you're doing these liquid-esque moves with the point, with the fingers all sporadic. You know, that's actually pretty interesting though. Like doing a liquid with like 5 sporadic lines. I don't know. Some of the technology that Ben is doing is pretty sick. Not gonna lie. Same thing with here, and this is because the mode is so strobe. There's not a lot of blanks. Is that the presentation of where like that movement? So like you're in a paused finger roll, right? You're in a paused finger roll, and it doesn't quite work because of the camera settings, and it just kind of looks like it's flingering, maybe, you know. And so I don't know, not the greatest presentation. Maybe going under the lens here as well to help with that. Yeah, I don't know. Just some of the open hand stuff is not really working in your favor, and it feels incomplete. Not sure what the intent is there. But when you go into it, when your movement is there, it looks really good. Okay, let's check that. Pinky to thumb. So you kind of ignore your ring here. Right? So you go from like this finger to this finger, you would completely ignore the ring, and then you go straight to your pinky. Sometimes we can get a little bit ahead in our movements. No lies though, those flails are nice. When he's in the movement, they're really good. It's sometimes when he does into like the pause, sporadic fingers, fingers. God damn it, it can look kind of odd. The landing from pinky to thumb, not bad. Yeah, that works. From this spot to landing of, I mean, that it's not the cleanest because we're doing 2 levels of lines, but the placement is odd. There's some angles. There are some angles in gloving where you kind of just have to like completely throw it out. I think those are one of the angles. There are some moves in gloving, guys, where it's just like, you know, like, doesn't quite work. Maybe the presentation there. Okay, this is a risk, okay? I think because of the genre, like, with Deerface's style, like the genre of movement, this 3-point right here works. Because it's very tut, digit, heavy-esque type move. I get the sense of like illusions, right? Like geometrical shape illusions. And with like a 3-point like this, you can get into some pretty trippy concepts, right? If you were like a very like showman heavy type of liquid based type of style, doing this 3-point, I wouldn't buy it. I would just be like, okay, that's just bad placement. But I think because of this style, it works. But we're not really playing with it. At this point of the show, I don't know if this is just a misalignment or a, hey, look at this 3-point. Let me turn it into like a triangle. Let me turn it into a triangle of some sort and then collect it, or you know what I mean? Just because of the style, I think there's you could do that. But here it just seems like it's a weird alignment to just get into. But I respect the correction. I respect the correction going into that middle finger when he does a point rotation there, like that. Yeah, it's really interesting decision. Very interesting decision. I don't know. I have to try that out. Yo, what up? Cause we're doing this pointer and then we're isolating like that middle back. I think it's an interesting movement. I like the movement. I do not like the execution of it. It's probably because, okay, I get it. It's because that there's a level here with the pointer, and technically this pointer is not on the same level of that pointer. You know what I mean? Like, it is the same level here, but it's not. Because when we go into like this isolation, we're creating a new level in between the webbings. So we're kind of forcing it. I think. Where does he land? Okay, he lands in front. Yeah, we're forcing the level here when there's actually like two levels. Yeah, I don't know. We gotta work on this one. I like it conceptually. I just the way that it's executed here. There's some future in here for sure. There's some future in here. Okay, this is a sick ass concept. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love that he grabs it too. We're doing like a isolation remoting what's not there, dude. Oh, that is so sick. Grab. The level of isolation here could use some work. Because when we grab, right, I'm looking for that equal distance being grabbed at that vertical line. So like what I'm looking for is kind of like if I were to just like grab you know, like a pen or something, if I were to like grab like a Sharpie, basically what I'm looking for is if we had pretend like this is the line, right? I'm looking for that equal length from that isolation. I'm not even doing like that length. I'm looking for that equalness, right? But because here we're not getting it, boop, right? Because we kind of close the distance here. Should be, I'm looking for that straight. But as we're going, right, we close the gap a little bit and we don't sell it. We're not buying it. We didn't sell it good here. Crazy concept though. Love the illusion. Yeah, and I love this. This is a form you don't really see quite often. Thumbs in between the webbings, the left and right of the, right in the middle of the webbings. Can I even do that with the lights? He can go out. He can go out pretty far. You can actually, how far can you guys like even do that? Like I got like a little nub, bro. I can't do anything with it. concepts where you're like through the webbings like that, I think very underused. You don't see a lot of it. Makes for some really interesting illusions. Unfortunately, my best bet is probably doing it through my pointer and my middle, like this. You know, it's probably the best I got. I mean, I could still do that point in the middle. Works as well. Pass through concepts, you know. But he's going through it pretty... a lot, actually. It's a unique aspect of his shows. Wish he used it more. Okay, so I think with the tutting... there's a little bit of floating with the tutting. Or in his words, drifting. So in this particular angle, right, this angle kind of doesn't work because there's an indentation, right? I want to see these fingers right at the wrist, So, you know, just making a slight adjustment there. And then this isolation would make way more sense there. But, you know, it's because we're moving two things at the same time, then we're not quite getting that level of isolation here. Here... yeah, it's just floating. It's a nice... yeah, here... and it's a little bit of a duck, that's why. It's because of this duck. I want to see that flat hand, no indentation, if can. I like where his mind's at, though. Okay, look. So we're cheating angles here. So this is a common landing point, okay, guys? So if you're doing this tut, if you're just doing this normal tut like this, the landing point of this tut is gonna always be at the middle of your arm all the time. So like you can think of the middle of your arm as like a landing point. It's always gonna happen. This is a very common isolation point. It's always going to happen. Always going to happen right dead center, okay? So what actually happens right here is when we're isolated, he goes into this crazy angle here, okay? And kind of just lets it go, you know? Like it should be dead center of his arm, but this he's uncomfortable right now, so he's trying to cheat the elbow to touch the tip because he doesn't know that the landing point is dead center at the forearm. So we're kind of just cheating it. You see what I'm saying? So commit to that angle. I would say live in that angle for a little bit and just create like a... because yeah, we're kind of just trying to get out of it here. I mean, when you're like boom, 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 okay, boom, 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 right? Just trace down. Just trace down if you have to and move the whole form. Or boom, boom, boom. You know, you could come into a straight angle like this, and you could even like, you know, hit it. How can I see? Hit it out. See, it's a tough angle. Or you could come to, you know, hinge around, complete, go in a forward square. It's a bad angle, actually. That's tough, man. It's tough. Actually, where I'm in relation to my camera is bad. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Live in here. What can you do? Boom. 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 Boom, 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 boom. 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 Boom, boom. Something like that. Trying to go to your elbow here. It's tough. Tough. Okay, this is what I talked about way earlier, okay? So, Deerface got some crazy genes, I'm gonna tell you that right now. He's got some crazy... I know this guy's potentially could do crazy angles because look at that bend. Look at that bend, dude. That's a crazy bend. Every time I see bends like that, it's like you have access to like a more like you have access to like a curved style within like your hand, like with your palms, just because you can, you know, like I don't got it. So you have access to like doing like bends like that. I want to see Deerface play with that a little bit. Do some really intricate stuff. Like look at that. Oh my god, dude. That's just crazy. That's freaky. Freaky style. Let's see it. Was not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. Ending's pretty good. Hell yeah. I love it. Dude, yeah. Man, that's 2 years. That's crazy for 2 years. Yeah, I would say slow down on some of the isolations. Really, like, be static. Just play with your forms and see what isolation, right? You might have to be static in 2 forms to see what isolations match. And, like, if you're going to do something like this, right, it's important to just isolate the secondary movements. Like, okay, primary, okay, secondary, see what lands. Secondary, right? See what lands. See the perfect alignment for each isolation. That's probably the biggest feedback that I can give for you, Deerface, on this video. But yeah, awesome job. I'm excited to see what 3 years looks like. That's crazy. Hella crazy. As far as frame by frame submissions, I think we've pretty much hit all of them. I kind of want to watch Glover's Pit between Danny and Night Shift, or Pit Battles rather. Yeah. Yeah, and this one was taken by Night Shift, 92%. Damn, 14 votes. Not bad. What were the for number 1 judges? Okay, we've got Psych, Kuya, and Flosin. All right. Yeah, I want to watch Danny's first. Alignment there in the thumbs is bad. Good pacing though. I'll fuck with it right now. Alignment there could use a little bit of work. Ooh. Placement there was a little bit off. Pretty standard here, whips at the drop. Nothing too crazy. Okay, here we go. Change of pace. A change in pace there, but he was kind of just in that same pace. Ooh. I feel like the choice of moves aren't really captivating the song at this point. During that initial drop, or that second drop, alignment there was a little bit off. That was pretty good, not bad, not bad. All right, let's look at Night Shift.
Trouble double double.
Clean curves there.
Trouble double double.
Odd decision to go into tutting in the beginning. But he's not committing, which is good. Keeping it symmetrical, this is fine. Kind of an odd, like, I don't know. Ooh. Here we go. I think his use of depth here is doing him a lot of favors. Very controlled. Yeah, movement is pretty good. Okay, that was a funny part of the miss.
I'm broader than Broadway. Yes, I'm broader than Broadway. I'm broader than Broadway. Yes, I'm broader than Broadway.
Wicked style, yeah. I actually thought that in terms of musicality, Night Shift actually matched the music more compared to Danny. In Danny's initial drop, there was kind of like a lack of intensity. There's a lack of intensity in the drop. I liked Danny's build up a little bit more though. Like everything that led up into the drop. Like yeah, like the whips here are like proper. But it's nothing that makes me go wow. Like at the most important part of the song, I'm not like wow right now. Where like with Night Shift's drop, you want to call it a drop, I think the pickup is way more impactful. Because now we're going just straight into like longer strings of tech. Where like with Danny, we get into that like we pick it up like at that like That mid part of the drop. I just felt like the way that Night Shift went into it was a lot more impactful. Even though Night Shift had like an odd, I don't know, his the decision to go through like tuts and all these like pieces of tech is just kind of odd. So then it becomes, okay, like do I value that initial pickup over the odd placements of concepts in the song? But then like with Danny's ending, I thought, I mean, well, I would actually match their middle and endings. Except there's a part in Danny's show at the ending where like it changes pace and he's just kind of just lingering in the tech. Like I want to see more than just tech. Like I want to see high value filler moves. There was also an odd 45-degree turn in the middle of Danny's sequence that looked out of place. Was it that one? Like right here, it feels odd. The selection of concepts at this part of the song. Yeah, there was a lot of misalignments on Danny's end in terms of execution. Shortly after he does whips. Do we pass it? Like I feel like, oh man, this is the level of execution moving that fast with like all the whole dial and cluster style is like really high caliber. Where like with Night Shift's show, I don't think there's quite a lot of moves that are that hard to execute. I actually don't think any of Night Shift's moves are hard to execute. They're just really nice placements and nice, he likes to play within the forms a little bit more, where Danny's kind of like on that autopilot with some of his moves. In terms of presentation, I think Night Shift had nicer presentation in terms of space. And I think that might be what took him the dub. I will not be choosing a winner, by the way. I do not choose winners. But if I were to guess, that's probably the story of this battle. I think that there were more impactful movements in Night Shift's show than Danny's. Even though Danny had a more complex connection-based style, and honestly, I think it just comes down to like pacing. I think because of Night Shift's use of space and the impacts in the move, like that's enough to secure him the win. Even though I feel like Danny's potential is much higher. It's just how he chooses to place these movements is, I think, one of the biggest struggles. That and some parts of musicality. For some reason, I'm not buying the performance. Like, there's something about Danny shows where I don't buy the performance. You know? It's got to come off more naturally, I think. Yeah, I missed a lot. I think it looked like he did an unintentional slight 45-degree turn that sort of went to a Z-axis that seemed like it didn't fit very well when he began getting into his tech. Yeah. If it's these 45s, I don't think the 45s are that bad. I think it's just come closer to the camera because we're in like this mid-range for majority of the show. We're not really treating the camera like as an audience, you know? Kind of just there in that mid section the whole entire time. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all for today. Watched a lot of light shows, yeah. So guys, if you guys stuck with me this whole time, really appreciate you guys. Pat, thank you. Brandon, if you're still here, thank you. Starburst, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Probably be streaming on TikTok in a couple. You guys have a great rest of your have a great weekend. Guys, take care. Peace. I will be uploading the frame by frames if anyone ever wants to relook at them. Sure, a lot of the people who submitted want to look at them. So yeah, I will be reposting all the frame by frames on my channel. So keep on the lookout, guys. Peace out. Have a great weekend. Peace.